Commander Zaxathul stood frozen at the observation deck of the Dominion's Pride, his four eyes fixed on the impossible scene unfolding on the planet's surface below. The creature that had single-handedly destroyed 3 of their elite assault divisions, a monstrosity they had designated as Classification Omega-7, was currently rolling on its back in what appeared to be joy. And the human was scratching its belly. "Sir," his tactical officer, Lieutenant Kriva, whispered through her translator with barely concealed terror. "The beast appears to be butt-purring." The sound resonated through their ship's sensors like a low-frequency earthquake. 3 days ago, that same purr had been the last thing heard by Battalion Commander Thrix before his entire mechanized unit was reduced to twisted metal and ash. Now it sounded almost pleasant. Zaxthul's mandibles clicked nervously as he reviewed the data for the 100th time. The creature stood 12 meters tall at the shoulder, possessed razor-sharp claws capable of slicing through their strongest, battle armor-like tissue, and could apparently breathe a corrosive compound that dissolved their energy shields on contact. It had taken their finest military minds 3 months to classify it as an extinction-level threat to galactic civilization. The human had walked up to it and said, "Who's a good boy?" "Patch me through to the human," Zaxthul commanded, his voice barely steady. The communication link crackled to life. "Oh, hey there," came the cheerful voice of the human. Designation, Marcus Chen, agricultural specialist. "You guys still hanging out up there? Come on down. Rex here just wants to..." Play Rex. The creature that had devoured armies had a name. "Human Chen," Zaxthul began, using every diplomatic protocol he knew. "That creature is responsible for the deaths of over 15,000 of our soldiers. It is a Class Omega threat to all sentient life in this sector." Marcus's laughter echoed through the bridge. Even through the universal translator, it somehow managed to sound warm and infectious. Several of Zaxthul's crew members found themselves relaxing slightly, despite the absurdity of the situation. "Rex? Nah, you've got it. All wrong. He's just scared and confused. Probably never saw anything like your ships before. Classic fear response. You know how rescue animals can be aggressive when they're traumatized? Rescue animals?" Zaxthul's translator struggled with the concept. "Besides," Marcus continued, his voice taking on that peculiar human quality they called smugness. "Look at him now." The tactical display showed the creature, Rex, had rolled completely upside down, its massive claws safely tucked against its chest as Marcus rubbed what appeared to be a sensitive spot behind its auditory receptors. The beast's eyes were half closed in apparent bliss, and that terrifying purr had taken on an almost musical quality. "Impossible," breathed Lieutenant Kriva. "Our xenobiologists spent months analyzing that creature's behavior patterns. It showed no capacity for bonding or social interaction with any known species." "That's because you never tried asking what he wanted," Marcus replied, somehow having heard her whispered comment through the comm. "Look, I've been working with animals my whole life. Back on Earth, we've got creatures that make your little war machines look like toys, great whites, saltwater crocs, Kodiak bears, and we figured out how to work with all of them." Zaxthul felt his worldview cracking. "You're saying your species regularly interacts with predatory creatures of that magnitude?" "Well, sure, though Rex here is definitely the biggest I've worked with. Took me about 6 hours to figure out. He just wanted his ears scratched and someone to throw this around with him." The display shifted to show Marcus picking up what their sensors indicated was a chunk of twisted hull plating from one of their destroyed vehicles, wreckage that Rex had apparently been saving as a toy. "The question is," Marcus continued, his tone becoming more serious, "why did you guys come here shooting first? Rex's species is clearly intelligent. If you'd sent a diplomatic mission instead of an invasion force, none of this would have happened." The bridge fell silent. Zaxthul's species had built their empire on the principle of overwhelming force. They had never encountered a civilization that responded to threats with friendship. We did not consider that possibility," Zaxthul admitted, feeling something he had never experienced before. Shame. "Yeah, well, humans have a saying, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Though honestly, Rex prefers these synthetic protein bars I brought. Want to come down and apologize? To him personally? I think he'd appreciate it. Zaxthul looked around his bridge at his crew. The fear in their eyes was slowly being replaced by something else. Curiosity. How was it possible that this soft, fragile species had accomplished in hours what their military might had failed to do in months? Human Chen, he said slowly, would your species be willing to teach us your methods of animal handling? Marcus's laughter filled the bridge again. Sure thing. But fair warning, Rex isn't the only one of his kind on this planet. There's a whole pack of them about 50 kilometers north. They've been watching this whole interaction, and I think they want to meet you too. A whole pack. Their sensors had somehow missed an entire colony of these creatures. Oh, Marcus added cheerfully. And you might want to bring more of those protein bars. These guys eat about 3 tons each per day. As Zaxthul prepared his shuttle for what would undoubtedly be the most unusual diplomatic mission in galactic history, he found himself wondering what other impossible things humans might be capable of. If they could turn the most feared predator in known space into a pet, what else could they accomplish? He suspected he was about to find out. 30 minutes later, as Commander Zaxthul found himself hesitantly scratching behind the ear of a creature that had haunted his nightmares, he came to a profound realization. Perhaps the humans' greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tenacity. It was their stubborn refusal to see enemies where they could make friends instead.